my beautiful friends. So my name is Britt. I work for the Pikes Peak Library District. I use the pronouns she, her, and hers. And today I'm going to show you how to make not one, but two Harry Potter inspired potions. Welcome to potions class. Okay, so we're gonna make invisible ink first. And so all you need to do that are a few key ingredients. You need some lemon juice, you need some cotton swabs for writing, you need paper to write on, and you need like a teensy bit of water, okay? So all you have to do to make invisible ink is squeeze some lemon juice. And if you don't have a fancy lemon squeezer, definitely the name of this thing. But if you don't have one, you can just use your hands or however else you normally squeeze lemon or citrus fruits in your house. Speaking of which, this will work with like vinegar or orange juice, other stuff like that, because it's essentially just an oxidation reaction, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that at the end when I reveal my secret message. Okay, so that's literally it. You just mix the lemon juice and the water, and then you're going to write a message using your cotton swab. So you can also, you can just stir this with a spoon, but I'm like, well, you know what I can also stir it with is this cool cotton swab. And then I'm wasting less stuff, and there's less stuff for me to clean up later, more importantly. All right, so I've got my invisible ink on, and I'm gonna write a little message. All right, so you guys go ahead and write your messages. And then at the end of the video, if you don't wanna make the flesh-eating slug repellent, which is gonna be our next one, our next video, you can go ahead and skip right to the big message reveal. But like I said, the next thing I'm going to show you how to make is flesh-eating slug repellent. So while we're waiting for this to dry, for our message to be truly invisible, we'll go ahead and make that flesh-eating slug repellent, which is really just bug spray. Okay, now I'm going to tell you how to make flesh-eating slug repellent, aka natural bug spray. So this one, like I said earlier, does require some more specialized ingredients, but you can find all of this at the grocery store, with maybe one exception, but I'm going to give you a substitute for it. So let's start with that ingredient. So you will need some vegetable glycerin. I don't think you can find this at the grocery store. I just got it online. But it has a bunch of uses, and you can also use vegetable oil as a substitute, and that you can definitely get at the grocery store. So glycerin. You're also going to need witch hazel, which is again another thing that you can get at the grocery store. I normally find it in the like natural skin products section. So same thing with essential oils. So we've got tea tree oil and lavender, and those you'll also normally find in the grocery store somewhere near the natural foods or remedies section. And then distilled water, which again you can find at the store. I know that there was maybe a run on it during the beginning of the pandemic, so I don't know how hard it is to find right now, but you can also make your own distilled water, which would be kind of a fun little science project to do at home. Essentially you collect vapor. Doesn't sound fast, but it does sound cool, so I will link to a way to do that in the description. And then you're going to need some level of spray bottle so that you can apply this natural bug spray. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to put in 3 tablespoons of witch hazel. And so before I made this, I was like, will it do anything? Because I'm kind of a naturally skeptical person, or I can be anyway. Sometimes I'm not. Selectively skeptical person, I guess. Anyway, so I was like, is this going to work? And so what I did was I looked at, PPLD has a couple of health databases. So I looked at Medline and Consumer Health, and I'll link to both of those as well. And I looked up tea tree oil, because this is what's supposed to repel the mosquitoes, and witch hazel. And so witch hazel, they have found does help with things like inflammation. So there have actually been some studies. So witch hazel is legit. Ooh, this is going to be tricky. Okay, so you're going to pour your 3 tablespoons of witch hazel into your, okay, whew, that was really sketchy, you guys. Okay, so, all right, so we're going to do this 5 times because it's 3 tablespoons of witch hazel and then 2 of the distilled water. And then we're going to add just a little bit of glycerin and essential oils, and then we're going to have ourselves an all-natural bug spray. So witch hazel has been found to be, like I said, anti-inflammatory, so it does help. Actually, if it doesn't help with preventing bug bites, it will help if you get one. It will keep you from being so itchy. So even if this doesn't actually repel slugs or bugs of any type, it will make your skin a little less itchy. And you're going to smell good because we're going to add some tea tree oil and lavender here. So that was 3 tablespoons of witch hazel, 2 of distilled water. And then we're going to add just half a teaspoon, so like a very small amount of, that's this one here, this vegetable glycerin. So, and this also is used in a lot of like skincare products because it keeps your skin like a little soft. So, all right, I've got that in there. The last thing I need to do is add my essential oils. So I'm gonna add 15 drops of this tea tree oil. And so tea tree oil is the thing that is supposed to repel the mosquitoes. But when I looked it up on, I looked it up on both Consumer Health and you need 15. And Medline Plus. Okay, so that was 15-ish. I don't feel like being super scientific about it because again, when I looked it up, the 2 databases were like, people have been saying that it works for a long time. It might work, but essentially there haven't been any like medical studies that have proven that. So there have been some medical studies into the uses of tea tree oil, but none into the use of tea tree oil as a insect repellent. So basically, that's just me being like one disclaimer and verify the stuff you're reading. So that was 5 drops of lavender. And so then you're just gonna mix it up and you've got your bug spray. So like with anything with skincare products that you haven't used before, just spray it on a small piece of your skin to make sure you don't have a reaction. Or if you do typically have reactions to skincare products, maybe this is one to skip or speak to your doctor about first. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on me. And you know what, if nothing else, you're gonna smell amazing because this smells really good. So if nothing else, you'll have a slightly hydrating spray that makes you smell good and that will relieve inflammation and remove any itchiness in case you do get a bug bite. So that is how to make the flesh-eating slug repellent. And if you stay tuned, we're gonna take a look and see if that invisible ink worked. Moment of truth. Okay, so I'm gonna show y'all now the secret message. So the way to see your message is to expose your paper to heat. So I'm using a light bulb. If you're a little on the younger side, you're gonna wanna get a parent's help with this. But let's take a look at my secret message. Sorry, it takes my phone a minute to focus. So I don't know if you could tell, but that was supposed to be the Deathly Hallows symbol. And I am doing a Deathly Hallows wearable program on Friday, so check back for that. But basically the way that this works, I did want to explain why the lemon will change color under heat. And what happens is it's oxidized. And so if you're not familiar with the concept of oxidation, it's really just an atom, when an atom gives up its electrons. It normally gives up its electrons to oxygen, hence the name oxidation. The atom or the element that's receiving the electrons is said to be reduced. So they're a lot of the time called redox reactions. So that's a super, super simple explanation. I'm gonna link to a Khan Academy video that gives you a more in-depth explanation if you want it. But yeah, that's basically like, that should explain a lot of things in your life. Like that is what happens to an apple when you cut into it. It's exposed to oxygen and it's oxidized. So it loses some electrons to the oxygen and that's why it turns brown. So hopefully you've learned a little bit today and you had fun making our potions. And we hope to see you back to do other cool programs with us here at Pikes Peak Library District.